We are going to go over everything in these videos at the graduation lesson and make sure that you understand this with hands-on training. However, I don't want the lesson to be the first place you're hearing this. In dog training, there's a term called pressure, leash pressure, spatial pressure, etc. Dogs will work for food reward, and they will work to turn off pressure. The term pressure is not a term that I like, and I don't think it accurately describes our specific technique and the way in which we introduce and use these tools. I use the term guidance and communication instead. However, you may hear me say pressure. And in those moments, I want you in your mind to think communication. We want an active learning dog rather than reactive, a dog who understands that their choices matter. When we have to use the leash to communicate, we use it as either continuous or momentary guidance. The momentary is used in the heel turns when we tug and turn with a pop and release of the leash, giving a bite on the neck with the prong that we use to communicate that we have turned directions. If your dog is paying close enough attention to you or just paying attention to your left leg, they will turn with you. If they aren't giving you a portion of their focus, then you will pop and release until they turn with you. When they follow your guidance, they will no longer feel the bite on their neck with the prong. This gives them the impression that they can turn off pressure or that they have understood your communication or guidance and therefore no longer need it in that moment. The continuous pressure is used in the sits and the downs. Continuous pressure comes on gentle and then can become more intense if needed. We want our dog to understand all layers of communication, so we have multiple ways to reach them during all situations. While your dog may know your verbal commands for sit and know your body language if they are highly distracted outside, they may not be looking at you to see your body language, and they may not hear your words. The great news is that touch is a valuable tool to communicate with them, and this is a form of communication that your dog is really receptive to. When you want your dog to sit, you will give guidance with the leash in an upward direction and for the downs in a downward direction.
Yeah. Good.
As soon as they sit or go down, release all tension in the leash so that they continue to get the impression that they made the right choice and no further communication is needed. If we allow tension in the leash at times that we are not communicating with our dog, then they become dull to this guidance and it loses its meaning. It's very important to keep the leash loose and tension-free unless you are using it as a communication tool. The leash is a conversation with our dog, not a restraint device. This will further enhance your communication, and since all good relationships are founded on clear communication, your relationship will be stellar if you understand this communication along with your dog. Okay, we're making this video to demonstrate how to properly put your dog's tools on. So the prong collar, we want to make sure that it's not twisted at all. A lot of times we see people come in with the prong collar twisted right here. So just make sure that it's all laying flat. The prong collar goes up higher than the other collars, if that's the collar that you're using, which we would recommend using that on the walk. And then,
Nope. Sit.
good. And then why don't you snap the leash to the prong and we'll show where we want that clip to. So the snap of the leash gets clipped to the D-ring. The D-ring can swivel. And a lot of times we see people clip it to the O-ring right here or clip it to both rings, and that does not allow for the collar to cinch. So we need a clip to the D-ring. Their slip collar that comes with the board and train program is just under your prong collar. I like to use this when I have dogs be on a long line, whether it be to practice recalls or let them potty. I like to switch it to having it on that slip collar And the slip collar gets this snap here that goes around the neck gets clipped to the sliding ring so that the slip collar can cinch. And then under all those collars is our e-collar. Sorry, I'm having this out of frame sometimes, guys. But the e-collar's under that, and we put the e-collar on the side of the neck. So it either goes on that side or the other, either side. And we want the e-collar tight enough that we can just fit a couple fingers on the other side of from the receiver part, the other side of that. We just slip a few fingers in there, and if we can get a few fingers in there, it's the right tightness.